Kurobozu. You wake up tired, which is weird because you went to bed early, but you brush it off. Next morning, same thing. Exhausted, foggy, a strange taste at the back of your tongue you can't quite place. And there's a smell, it's faint, like something rotting, but only in your room, and only when you first wake up. You check everywhere. Nothing. That's when you should start worrying. Because Kurobozu was already there last night, and that rotting smell comes straight from his tongue. Kurobozu, meaning black monk, is a dark humanoid figure with a bestial face and the unmistakable stench of rotting fish. His whole thing is waiting for everyone in the house to fall asleep, creeping up to whoever's most vulnerable, and using his tongue to pull the breath directly from your mouth. Sometimes he goes for the ears, too, because apparently one violation wasn't enough for him. You won't see him. You won't hear him. You'll just keep waking up feeling a little more hollowed out than the night before, literally and figuratively, since some random musty entity has, in fact, had his tongue in your ear, and you'd wish that was the worst of it. But for some reason, he just keeps coming back, every night. Same room, same smell. Same you getting weaker and having absolutely no idea why. He's basically the worst roommate imaginable, except he's not even on the lease. Though, honestly, can you blame him in this economy? Survival chance, 100%. Your health, different story. Your dignity's gone, but at least you're breathing. Enjoy that, because the next one haunts a river. And she's been crying for centuries. She's not okay, and neither will you be. La Llorona. It's late. You're walking near the river, and then you hear it, crying. Not loud, just soft, broken sobbing, coming from somewhere close to the bank. If your first instinct is to go check on whoever's upset, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to die. Because when you get closer, the crying gets louder, and that's when you see her, soaking wet, white dress clinging to her, with her face buried in her hands. You take another step. She goes quiet. And then, slowly, she turns around. La Llorona, meaning the weeping woman, is a Mexican legend about a mother who drowned her own children in a fit of grief and jealousy, then immediately regretted it and died of anguish. When she reached the afterlife, she was refused entry and condemned to wander the earth, stuck in a loop she can't get out of, screaming into the night, searching for children she will never find. Luckily, she found the perfect solution. She'll just take yours instead, or you, whoever's closest. If she grabs you, she's not even sure you're not her child. And frankly, she's past the point of checking. Anyway, some say hearing her wail nearby means someone close to you is about to die. Others say she's a warning. Either way, she is a walking red flag, and you should not have approached the sobbing. Because this isn't your Tia losing her keys at 2 a.m., and this time, it won't end with a flip-flop to the head. It'll end with your head on a stake. So whatever you do not offer to help. Do not investigate. And do not say, Latina mommy, because she will be your mommy, just not in the way you think. Survival chance? 35%. At least La Llorona is outside. The next one finds you in a school bathroom. No water, just piss. And a voice on the other side of a stall door asking you to pick a color. AKA Manto. Imagine this. You're at school. It's been a long day. All you want is 5 minutes of peace in the last bathroom stall. The quiet one, the one nobody uses. You sit down. You reach for the toilet paper, but there isn't any. And then, someone knocks on the door. At first, you hear it. A voice. Calm, quiet, and coming from somewhere just slightly wrong. It asks you one question. Red paper or blue paper? That's Manto, a supernatural entity who haunts the last stall of school bathrooms specifically to offer you a choice about how you'd like to die. Because if you choose red, you won't just get to wipe with something more colorful this time. Instead, Manto will skin you alive. Choose blue, and he will strangle you until there's nothing left. Other colors have been reported too, and somehow each one is worse than the last. If you try to be clever and ask for no paper, well, you will not only leave with soiled pants, but also get dragged underground, so that's not the win, it sounds like. The safest move is to say absolutely nothing and run. Engaging with the question at all seems to lock you into the game, so silence and speed are your only real tools here. So whatever you do, avoid the last stall, and maybe just hold it. Survival chance, 30%. Silence saved you there. The next one doesn't give you that option. She walks up to you, she asks you directly, and she has scissors. Kuchisake-Onna. Imagine getting killed because a ghost asked you a question and you answered wrong. And here, I thought math tests were cruel. At first, she was a woman, beautiful, married to a samurai, and allegedly a big-ass cheater. Her husband mutilated her face and left her with a grin carved from ear to ear, saying, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" That was a big mistake on his part, because she came back from the dead with a surgical mask, a pair of scissors, and one single question she has been asking strangers in alleyways for centuries. Am I pretty? Say no. Scissors! Say yes. She takes off the mask, reveals the face, and asks again. Say no. This time? Scissors! Say yes again. She cuts your mouth to match hers. Try to run, she's faster. Try to scream, also scissors. Luckily, there are rumored escape tactics. Call her average, throw candy to distract her, or run into a crowd. And the strangest and most cited trick? Say pomade 3 times. No one fully knows why it works, but your best shot is apparently just critiquing her hair and hoping for the best. Maybe she'll be impressed by your hair advice and leave you alone. Or maybe she'll get self-conscious about the mess and decide you're not worth it. Who knows? Survival chance? 10%. At least she gave you a chance to answer. The next one already picked you, weeks ago. You just didn't know it yet. Hachishakusama. 8 feet tall, white funeral dress, a wide-brimmed hat pulled low enough to hide whatever is underneath it. And trust me, you do not want to know what's underneath it. And then there's the sound. Po, po, po. Now here's where it really gets fun. She hunts children. And she's not in a rush about it either. She'll stalk a single target for days, weeks, sometimes months before she even makes a move. Honestly, she should stop hunting children and start chasing a career in basketball instead. 8 feet tall? What a waste of potential. Anyway, when you do encounter her, because at this point it's when, not if, she won't just walk up to you. She'll shapeshift first. Mimic the voice of your parents. Or use hypnosis to draw you in before you've even realized what's happening. By the time you see her up close, that massive frame, that dress, that hat slowly tilting upward, she's already got you. Then she reaches out, wraps those long fingers around you, and that's the last thing anyone nearby will see of you. The only confirmed escape? Leave Japan, because she does not cross borders. She simply waits, and given that she's been doing this for centuries, she's very good at it. Survival chance? 15%. At least she had patience. The next one has none. No stalking, no waiting. Just a sound getting closer in the dark. And by the time you place it, it's already too late. El Silbón. You hear a whistle. It's loud, clear, close enough that you spin around, but there's nothing there. Just the open plains stretching out in every direction. You exhale. Maybe it was just the wind. Maybe nothing. And then, faintly, almost too faint to catch, you hear it again. That's when you should run. Because when El Silbón sounds far away, he's already standing right behind you. And when he sounds close, that's the only time you're actually safe, which is genuinely one of the cruelest things a legend has ever done to the concept of instinct. But the origin story is even more brutal. El Silbón was a spoiled boy who murdered his own father. In one version, over a deer heart he demanded be brought home. In another, over a family dispute that ended in blood. Either way, someone cursed him, beat him savagely, and set dogs on him. Now he's a skeletal figure standing nearly 6 meters tall, wandering the Venezuelan and Colombian llanos, with a sack of his father's bones over his shoulder, whistling that same tune across the plains. He comes for drunks, cheaters, the violent, even non-subscribers, people in the wrong place at the wrong time. He stops outside homes at night, and if you're inside, you can hear the bones rattling in that sack. If every single person in the house wakes up and hears it, you're safe. If even one person sleeps through it, that person won't see next year. The only things that can stop him are a barking dog, a whip, or a chili pepper. Apparently, 2 of those trigger the trauma of his death, and the chili just personally offends him. The legend does not elaborate, and honestly, I respect the mystery. Survival chance? 13%. With El Silbón, you at least had legs to run on. The next one will make sure you don't. Teke Teke. The name comes from the sound she makes. And trust me, the moment you hear it, you'll understand exactly what it means. It's a rhythmic, scraping, relentless tek tek tek, getting closer in the dark. Coming from something moving at full speed. Something that shouldn't be moving that fast. The legend says Teke Teke was a young schoolgirl who fell from a platform onto the train tracks and was cut in half before the train could stop. Obviously, she died. But she didn't stay that way. Because now she's back. Well, minus about 50%. She's the upper half of a woman, dragging herself toward you on her elbows and fingernails, across platforms, down streets, anywhere near the infrastructure that took everything below her waist from her. And she is fast, like Usain Bolt fast. When you encounter her, she won't negotiate with you. She moves, and if she reaches you, she does to you exactly what the train did to her. The encounter is fast, it is loud, and by the time you've figured out what that sound is, your legs are already gone. According to some versions of the legend, there's a way out. If she stops and asks you what her name means and you answer correctly, she might let you live, but hesitation counts as failure. And if you try to be funny, like saying something dumb such as, I'm not subscribed, she won't laugh. She'll just make sure you match her height. Survival chance? 8%. Teke Teke is fast, but the next one doesn't even need to move. It just needs you to be online tonight. The Red Room. You're at your desk late at night, just browsing. Nothing special, nothing suspicious. And then a pop-up appears. It's a door painted red. When you close it, it comes back immediately. You close it again, it comes back again, and this time there's a voice. The voice is small, soft, almost sweet, like a child asking if you want to come over and play. Do you like? You close it. Do you like? You close it again. Your cursor's moving faster now. You're breathing too. But then it finishes the sentence. Do you like the Red Room? That's the Red Room curse. And the moment that question finishes, that's the moment your story stops being yours to tell. This one started as a Japanese flash animation in the late 1990s, originally uploaded to GeoCities, and spread wide in 2004 after it was linked to a real-world crime in Sasebo, a detail that turned a creepypasta into something much harder to laugh off. Every person who saw it was found dead, walls painted red. Unfortunately, there is no escape tactic here. No candy to throw, no wrong answer to dodge, no ritual to reverse. It just shows up, asks its question, and that's the end of your browsing session. And your everything else. Survival chance, 0%. You made it to the end, which already puts you ahead of most people in this video. 8 legends. 8 reasons to reconsider that late night walk, that last bathroom stall, that weird pop-up you should have just closed. Every culture on Earth has these stories. The weeping woman by the water, the figure in the alley, the thing that moves in the dark just outside what you can see clearly. And yeah, they're not real. Probably, almost certainly. But you'll still hesitate just for a second the next time you hear something outside. That's the whole point. Stay safe out there. Don't go near rivers at night. And for the love of everything, avoid the last stall.